I'm Dominic West, and I'm here to protest against the building, or the proposed building, of this massive factory pig farm in Foston in Derbyshire. I grew up actually up the road in Grindleford, and my uncle was a pig farmer, a small-scale pig farmer of the sort that will be put out of business by huge factory farms like this. So there's a certain sort of historical reason I'm here, but also I generally I'm interested in trying to promote awareness about the horrors of factory farming.
What are those horrors in your view?
I think the main one is the fact that in intensive farming like that you need to use so many antibiotics, and that that's going to have huge health issues for humans. It already does with e-coli and everything, and it's going to be a problem that's going to be a lot worse. To say that they're going to have 1,000 pigs a week being transported from this farm, and there's not going to be a smell, and there's not going to be traffic issues, there's not going to be disease issues, seems to me an extraordinary claim. And the trouble is that once this place is built, no one's got a recourse. There's no clause to say let's shut this down if there is the smell or if there is a health issue.
The general feeling in the community is pretty much unanimous objection to this development. They really don't like the idea of it. Nobody's keen on it, and it's a case of trying to support the local community in rising up against it.
We only live the other side, but my husband used to farm there, that side. He's an organic farmer.
Oh, are you? Oh, right.
This guy's made all these promises that this pig farm will be totally free of smell, free of dust, free of anything that's going to affect us. But what recourse do we have if it doesn't stand up to those promises? Will it be closed down if it smells? Because it should be.
Will he pay Sue and Steve?
Yeah, will he compensate us for the loss of value of our properties? Because everyone in the village has lost money. Their property is no longer worth what it was, and it never will be. But the smell thing worries me a great deal, because and the smell and the flies, we've got to live with that forever if this thing's built. And if it doesn't keep his promises on it being perfectly clean and smell-free, then it should be closed down. Those are the conditions that should go into the planning application.
Other villages further downstream to Foston Brook are very worried about flooding, because this field is a substantial soakaway which will be lost. The water will be finding its way into Foston Brook, and obviously they already have a flooding problem down at Scropton. The Environment Agency have expressed concerns because the water table is very high, and if there were any leaks from any of the mechanical equipment or tanks, this is going to find its way straight into Foston Brook, which then leads the River Dove.
We don't want our countryside full of factory farms that employ very, very few people, are hideous, stink. In fact, it would be better if we had small-scale farms looking after their pigs and quality food, and people paying a fair price to the farmer.
You say a fair price, but at the end of the day, isn't your biggest enemy here consumer tastes, and people want cheap meat at whatever cost?
Well, unfortunately, the cheap meat does come at a cost of taste, because actually the quality meat tastes better. And actually, I think it's fair that people will be paying just a little bit more to buy food where the animal has had a decent life, where farmers have had a decent living, and where your countryside is actually vibrant and not empty. Also, you've got to remember the fact that we're eating too much meat, and you have diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease, and it's because we're eating too much. We need to reduce the amount of meat we're eating, and that would actually help spread the cost of buying better quality meat.
It's only ignorance that allows people to buy the sort of stuff that this place is going to produce. Ignorance of how it's grown, how it's produced, ignorance of what happens to the animals, ignorance of what happens to the countryside around us, and the load that it puts on the environment.
I don't believe that 250, 300 prisoners just across the field are safe from these gases. Why are we taking this risk? Why should these people be guinea pigs for somebody else's profit? This is actually owned by a hugely multi-million pound turnover company, and it's not farmers. The money won't stay in the locality. They're not employing very many people. Why do we want to get big to compete with cheaper coming from the factory farms, which are behaving very badly on the continent, apparently obeying EU legislation? But the Compassion in World Farming survey showed that 90% of the farms in the EU are breaking EU regulations.
But isn't it the case that this farm will operate under UK laws, which are much stricter when it comes to things like animal welfare?
It is stricter, and that's why when you look at a label and it says British, you think, oh, those animals will have a great life. They're probably outside like we see along the motorway, because 40% of our pigs are actually born outside. Now we want to continue that sort of animal welfare. We don't want our government to say yes to a type of indoor factory farming which is potentially releasing diseases which are fatal.
The protesters against this, and particularly the local people here, are up against a very big business that's interested not just in pig farming but all sorts of money-making ventures. And so if I can help to raise awareness of what's going on and create a bigger support for the locals who are going to, whose lives are going to be ruined by this place. We're trying to get awareness because there's building a pig factory right here.
Oh, right.
Do they know about that inside?
Would you give them a DVD just in case they're interested? Because there's a serious health impact.
Yeah.
If there's going to be 25,000 pigs in the prevailing wind of this prison.
It's 1,000 pigs a week are going to be transported out of there. Intensely farmed.
But don't you've got to... Oh look, hello! How do you do? I'm Tracy Worcester. Hi. And this is Dominic West.
Do you work at the prison?
Yes.
And does everyone know about the factory that's being
I'm
built?
not sure. I work within a small part of the prison, so...
But it's going to be a huge... I mean, if it goes ahead, it's going to be a major health impact on everyone working and living here. Just wondering, do they know about it?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
It's just a collection of interviews of people who's experienced these sort of farms and done the research, and this is what they're saying potentially is the problem. Anyway, thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, so you must go.
James has just gone off.